Greetings, space fans. This is the Kal Kat, and originally I was going to do a brief review of the Ender's Game movie, and it was going to be all like I was going to do like a Mincing Pebbles character and have it come out and have it be all homosexual, so that Orson Scott Card would watch this and be really uncomfortable. But I thought that would only succeed in insulting the actual homosexual, so I decided not to do that. instead of insulting Orson Scott Card, who's probably not going to watch it. I saw Ender's Game and the movie based on the book. I saw Ender's Game, and it actually doesn't address the homophobic tendencies of Orson Scott Card, who wrote the book. The book itself doesn't actually have any homophobic stuff in it. It's actually the movie is done by this relatively known director. Now, he's done some other stuff. Yeah, the director stars aren't too important. The lead is somebody named Butterfield or something, and Abigail Breslin has a cameo, I guess a supporting role. As Valentine, but mainly the story is about Harrison Ford, who is old, really old now, sexagenarian, over 60 something, and he's the commander of the battle school, who instructs a bunch of young nubile training men to be trained into super soldiers so they can go blow up the bugger planet at some point, or defeat the buggers or whatever. The book, they are called the buggers, which is hilarious. The aliens are called the buggers. Now, either Orson Scott Card is directly or indirectly thinking, oh, see, that proves it, see? Like, that's bad. But I don't actually think that I don't think he's British, I think he's American, so I don't think he realized that word meant something else. He was just thinking insect, but didn't realize that. Yeah, needless to say, the movie, that I saw, Marx Cards refuses to see it. And he's all like, oh, I don't want to see that. You know, give my money to that homophobic guy. But I also saw Twilight, which is by another homophobic author. So, and we saw how that movie went. In fact, most of Stephanie Meyer, who wrote Twilight's audience, are gay men and young teenage girls. Now, with Ender's Game, you've got the reverse of that, because the book is actually quite homoerotic, if you think about it, and the movie even more so. I don't think Orson Scott Card, if he watched the movie, would endorse his own picture, because the movie is quite strange. The the battle school, the Butters is Ender or his name is Andrew Wiggies. Andrew Wiggies. That doesn't sound gay at all. No, not in the slightest. And Andrew Wiggies, better known as Ender, is brought into the battle school after allegedly flunking out of this other battle school, and he goes to the battle school, and basically the hero guys tell him that he keeps failing when in fact he's winning, so that he can fight the bad guys and not have friends or something. But they kind of drop the not have friends premise about a third of the way through and say actually he does have teammates, just training the best of the best to do their battle school, space academy type of thing. It's basically kind of like Starship Troopers, but with kids. Young nubile men that spend a lot of time wearing white wife-beater shirts and running around in zero-gravity jumpsuits that are very form-fitting. And lots of shots of their butts. This isn't homoerotic at all. There's two girls, but clearly the girls in the story are not the love interest. They're just there so that Orson Scott Card, who was one of the people doing it, so that he thought, well, if I put a girl in it and make him the love interest, then they won't think that Wiggins is gay. But no, he's gay. He don't know. He was all emotional about the aliens and stuff, and doesn't want to destroy them and stuff. And he's all like getting tempestuous and has compassion and everything, and he understands the nature of the aliens and wants to understand them, even though no one around him does. And it's like, well, the aliens are these big ant insects, and in the movie they're called the fornax, because fornicata is a not fornication, it's ant-like. Similar to Distant Destinies, how the ant bug lizards. I was not thinking of Ender when I wrote Distant Destinies. The earliest version of Distant Destinies predates the Ender's Game book. The Ender's Game book came out in '85. My story was PlanetCom back then, and Final Frontier, which I was ripping off Star Trek. And they were the Coleman in that one, or bug aliens. And it's a year earlier. It's '84. So, long before that book was ever out. I read Ender's Game around '85 or so. '86 when it came out. I read some of Xenocide, the sequel. Yeah, I think I read Xenocide. I don't think I read the third one. Because, yeah, Xenocide's completely different. It's on, like, another planet 3,000 years later. So I was like, oh, that's completely different. And then that, yeah, so the whole Battle School thing, yeah, it's, the movie's not bad. It's popcorn sci-fi adventure thing with old Harrison Ford in it. The actors do a fair job in their performances. And I would say Orson Scott Card would be embarrassed, because if he really is as homophobic as he claims on his websites and people... So yeah, I have to say that if Orson Scott Card was actually watched the movie, he might be a little squeamish, because the movie actually doesn't address his political and sociological beliefs at all. In fact, explores some of the ones he wouldn't go for, including Ender being suggestively a little bit foofy, which could be his lifestyle choice, I guess, as a space commander. And of course, he becomes the space commander, because that's part of the book. And that wouldn't be giving away anything, because, you know, he's the lead space admiral. Some of those elements of being the space admiral and being a kid do end up in stuff like we did, like Marx Cards and I did, like Silly Track. But it's not because of Ender's Game. It's because that's what you think of for an empowerment fantasy. So Wiggins' Ender character is essentially the Mary Sue for the author. And what's ironic is that the Gary Stu, in this case, is now a bitter old homophobic man who apparently really, really doesn't like gay people and does like blogs about how he doesn't like gay people. And it's unfortunate, because his book actually indicates tolerance even for bug aliens that get messed up. It's like, well, what happened to that guy? Anyway.